My name is Elena. I'm a junior exercise science major, and I'm 20 years old.
I'm David Alonso. I'm a junior. I'm a history and American studies major, and I am 21.
My disability is that I have ADD.
I have ADD. I also have reading comprehension, verbal comprehension issues, and I'm slightly dyslexic.
I was diagnosed when I was in third grade. Having to cope with it since then has just been taking time out to do my homework, like making sure I write everything down, basically just time management.
Real early, we're talking kindergarten, first grade.
Yes, there's been uncomfortable situations. Being that I have a disability, it just takes me longer to take tests. I can't focus, and it's kind of awkward because everyone else is done with the test first. I'm usually the last one done. So when my friends leave the classroom, I'm always the last one. They kind of make fun of me for it. So it's, I guess, my uncomfortable situations and when I have to leave the classrooms in high school or elementary school to go take tests. It's just kind of awkward because people are like, why is she leaving to take a test?
It's been a pretty natural thing. I've always been in schools designed to help people with learning issues. First went to Crossroads, then Woodland. They both specialize in teaching you strategies about doing that. That was a very comfortable thing. There's several times still where I'll misread something and then say something wrong because I've misread it. But then you feel kind of silly. But other than that, not really.
Coming into college, I wasn't really worried about it. Both of my brothers both have ADD or ADHD. And when they went into college, they didn't use their, I guess, disability resource center. So I felt that I would be okay with it. If they could do it, then I could do it.
I was a little worried about it. By a little, I mean a lot. It was going to be the first time I thought I was going to have any support, people helping me out. So I was nervous about it. Sometimes the professor will say something that rubs me the wrong way, but other than that, not really. One time I had this teacher that was like, well, ADD is just the most overdiagnosed thing that doesn't actually exist. And I was like, yes, it does. I have it.
I mean, they kind of single me out sometimes. They'd be like, oh, do you want to take your test and go into the resource center or go into the other room to take it since I got extra time on my tests. But other than that, in college, I haven't had to deal with it because I don't use the resource center. So I just take extra time on it. My day-to-day life with my disability, I don't really consider it any different than anyone else's other than the fact that I just have to take extra time out, making sure I write every single thing down the teacher says, because if I don't, then I usually don't remember. And I say the biggest thing is just really time management because it takes me longer to focus and longer to do things. I just have to really make sure I have time to do it.
It's not bad. It takes a lot of energy to stay focused and whatnot. First time my professor asked me about it, they literally had no idea what ADD meant. They just kind of thought it was a attention issue. They knew it was an attention issue, but they thought it was that you couldn't focus, whereas ADD is actually you focus on all the other things that really don't matter, like a phone ringing, type of shoes he's wearing, like the little piece of tape on the carpet, things like that, not what's on the board.
Just from my experience, being in class with other people that do have it, since I said I don't use the DRC, people don't really know. The kids in my class don't know I have a disability because I don't take the test and I don't leave to go to a different classroom. But for teachers, I think it's important that they know what students have it and what students need to use the DRC, and they shouldn't have to come into class, take the test, and then leave. They should just not be in class at all, and they should just be able to take the test somewhere else. They shouldn't have to come in, grab the test, and have that awkward moment where kids are like, why is she leaving the room with the test? So that's what I think.
My name is Kathleen Johnson, and my job title is director of the Disability Resource Center here at Cabrini. So my passion is understanding how students learn differently, but also working with all students who have any type of a disability. And so what has brought me to Cabrini is just that opportunity. So now I'm able to work with students with physical disabilities, psychological, learning, emotional, the whole gamut. Well, a student is able to come by my office, which is on the first floor of Founders, across from, down the hall from nursing, across from counseling. And they can come in and they could share with me that whether they have a disability that they are aware of or if they suspect that they have a disability. So when they come to me and if they have a documented disability, which means most likely in high school, that they've been, have received special services and special education in high school, then they frequently come with an IEP, which stands for Individualized Educational Program. And that document works for them in the K-12 setting to help them to receive accommodations for learning. That does not apply to higher education, but it's one aspect of the documentation that I will ask for in terms of the testing that was done in order to create the IEP. The first step that students have to take, and they have to initiate this, remember, any student coming to college does not have to disclose that they have a disability. That's their choice. So for professors, I often say to them, don't be afraid to ask, and to remember that they're students first. They're Cabrini students with a disability, not a disabled student. So always put the student first. And then have that conversation with the student. Say, help me understand how I can best teach you or provide these accommodations for you. I think it's just about accepting the student, helping the student, who oftentimes are very fearful of professors, sometimes intimidated, especially freshmen. That's the main thing too with professors, is to be sure that they remember they need to remain confidential, that once they meet with a student who may disclose to them they have a disability, to please keep that information confidential. And also just to be really sensitive and careful about not unintentionally perhaps, but announcing to a class, I need a note taker for this person sitting here who has a disability, because that in and of itself may seem harmless, but it could be hurtful to the student who's being pointed out. But I think if they can just keep that in mind, they're Cabrini students first, they want to do well, they need certain supports in place to do that, and to provide those supports without the student feeling like they have to jump through hoops or feeling bad about asking for these, because it is in fact what they need. It's not giving them any unfair advantage at all. It's just leveling the playing field because of the way the brain is wired. Increasing awareness that I'm here, that we are here to support students with any type of a disability, and for others to come, other professors, students who perhaps want some more information, even a student who doesn't have a disability who perhaps is living with one as a roommate, if they need some help understanding how to best relate. I mean, there's lots of information resources we can share. And so just increasing the awareness of the DRC here at Cabrini, and that our goal is to provide access for students, to make it a positive college experience as much as we can, and to know that we're here for them.